Hey Goblins! Today I'm going to show you guys how to make some cold brew that will save you a lot of money at the store. This is how I used to make it when I worked at Starbucks. We just had a slightly different system that we used, but the system that I have, I bought off of Amazon, so let me show you. So this is the Toddy cold brew system. It comes with this glass carafe with the lid. It comes with the upper chamber. It comes with a little rubber plug, as you can see mine is well loved. And then it comes with a felt filter. And this one is currently frozen because I keep it in the freezer, and I'll explain why in a little bit. So one of the things that's going to be different from the current model that is on Amazon that I'm going to be linking in my profile for you guys. This lid is from a third-party company. The old model did not used to come with a lid. I had to pay an extra $10 to get an aftermarket lid that was made for this system. The cold brew system itself costs, I think it's roughly actually about $10 more than it used to cost, but it does come with a lid now. So it's pretty much the exact same amount that I paid for it 3 years ago. And then you guys aren't going to need to buy anything else once you purchase this system. That's it. You'll only need to replace these felt filters very rarely. This filter I replaced 6 months after I got the system, and I have not needed to replace it since. So if you take good care of your filter, you will probably not need to buy anything new for this system for quite some time. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, for part one, you're not going to need this other than maybe to fill with water, but we're just going to use the upper chamber. You're going to flip it over, and you're going to take this little plug and you're going to put it in this hole. I like to go a little crazy pushing it in because I'm always paranoid that it's going to pop out. It has not popped out in 3 years, but I still think that it's going to. So with this filter, this felt filter absorbs the oils of the coffee grounds that you put into the system. To keep this filter fresher longer without needing to be replaced, you should put it in the freezer between uses. My first filter that came with the system, I did not do that, and it went rancid very quickly because coffee has oils in it and the oils go rancid, especially in the heat. And I tend to make my cold brew really only in the summer where it's really hot. Like I said, it's 100 degrees in my apartment right now. So it made the filter go rancid very quickly. And if I had known about this tip, I would probably still be on my very first filter. But as you can see, it's slightly gray. I didn't rinse it very well after my last batch, but usually it rinses almost completely white. Okay, so I've rinsed my filter and it is now more pliable than it was. It's still a little bit frozen, but you can see it's a little bit gray here. I will probably need to purchase a replacement soon, but I'm going to use this gray side up because that's the side that touched the coffee last time. But you just put it down here inside and you're going to push it in. And what I like to do, and it's going to be hard to demonstrate where you can see it, I like to take my fingers and go like this and then kind of go in a circle. So let me do that and then we'll come back. Okay, it was actually already pretty good. So the first time you do that, it's going to be a pain because the filter won't really be used to sitting in that divot there. You're going to have to really push it in. Every time you push in one side, it's going to want to pop up on the other side. So just keep at it. You'll get it eventually. So filter is in. You can see it's not coming out, which is great because you don't want the grounds to be able to go through it. So now we're going to add our coffee. I've started just recently getting 3 of these. These are 4-ounce bags of regular ground coffee. Now, you're going to have a couple different options. You can get ground coffee if that is easier for you. This system, the instructions that it comes with, you're supposed to use a full pound of coffee ground specifically for making cold brew, which is a very coarse grind. And that is because the coffee is sitting in the water for 24 hours. The coarser the grind, the less strong it's going to be over time. Like if there's more surface area on the coffee ground, it's going to really get strong. And then you're going to have also a little bit tougher time filtering it out. It filters out a lot faster on a coarser grind. But I've experimented with this thing, like I said, for 3 years. And I can tell you with confidence that you can use regular ground coffee, just use less of it. If you're going to get a cold brew grind, which you can buy whole bean coffee at the store and then grind it at the store, just pay attention to the knob. I don't know what number it is. Just pick a more coarse ground. You can use a French press grind if they have them labeled, or you can do 12 ounces of pre-ground coffee instead of 16 ounces. And this will give you the same strength, the same, like what you would normally expect from a cold brew as the 16 ounces of coarse ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick these into my bucket here. All my coffee is in. I would not suggest adding anything. Do not add cinnamon. Do not add any spices or anything in here. If you add finely ground cinnamon in here, it's going to gunk up the filter and it will not filter down. I would just stick with the coffee. And if you want to add flavorings, do that after, like per cup. So this is $3.75. And this is going to fill this entire carafe here. This is not going to even be straight up cold brew. This is going to be concentrate that we water down. So this carafe with these 3 bags of Dollar Tree coffee lasts me an entire week. So you do the math on that. That is way cheaper than any Starbucks drink you're ever going to buy. The next step is we are going to bloom our coffee grounds, which is when you fill it up with water, just enough to cover the grounds and get everything wet so that all of the grounds can get saturated and nice and happy before we fill it up with water all the way. That will prevent dry spots. The last thing you want is to have dry spots in here, because that means that the coffee didn't actually saturate into the water and you'll be losing potency in your cold brew. All right, so according to the official instructions, you're supposed to bloom the grinds for 5 minutes and you are not supposed to stir them. I just throw in an amount of water. But I do not follow the directions. I have not noticed any issues with me stirring the grinds. See how there's like dry spots? They are not going to get wet, so I'm going to need some more water. This is not quite where I want it at yet. Oh, it needs to be a little bit fluid. All right, so I'm going to put in another round of water here. So you don't want to disturb the filter. I think that was really what the instruction said. It's been so long. I think that was their point, was you didn't want to disturb the filter, but if you're not an animal about it, you're not going to disturb the filter. Okay, so see how this is a bit fluid and there's a bit of space on there. So now the grinds are going to start foaming a little bit, and that's really what you want to see. The instructions tell you to wait 5 minutes. I have contempt for the rules as written, so I'm only going to let this sit as long as it takes to fill up the carafe with the rest of my water from my little Berkey here. I'm going to pour this in here. It's probably not going to be enough. I can kind of tell already. I'm going to need another carafe. They tell you to leave about an inch of headspace in the instructions. So this, according to the instructions, would be considered full. I fill it up as much as possible. It doesn't really degrade the quality at all because it's really not that much extra water. And I can almost guarantee you that unless you're some sort of coffee connoisseur, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. And I really want to get as much as I can out of the grounds because I'm a cheap bastard. I think that's the line right there, but I don't listen to that. But I don't have any more water, so you win today. All right, so now my upper chamber is full. So I'm going to just kind of stir one more time, gently, making sure that all the coffee grinds are moistened by the water. You can see the foaming is happening there. That means that the coffee grounds are definitely getting saturated, which is great. That's what we want to see. But now I'm going to put this lid on, and I really need 2 hands for this. So I'm going to put this on and then I'll show you guys. All right, so this is what mine looks like with the lid that I have. The one that it comes with is going to be black, so it won't be the same anymore. But now we're going to let this sit for a full 24 hours. It can hang out here next to my really cool toaster and my chamomile from my garden. I will be back tomorrow to show you guys how full this gets. It's supposed to only come to about here if you follow their instructions and do it right, but mine usually fills to the top, and sometimes I have just a little bit extra depending on the coffee grind, depending on the size of the grind, depending on the actual coffee I'm using, depending on how long that I've left it, like how anal I am about making sure that it drains all the way out. But yeah, so you can generally get like an absolutely full carafe, like just barely fitting the lid if you do it my way. And then I'll show you guys how to make the best cold brew using a Starbucks cup. I'll show you guys how I did it while I was working at Starbucks. This brand, Toddy, is the same brand that Starbucks uses to make their cold brew. It's a little bit different of a system, and obviously it's a gigantic bucket. But this is the brand that is used in commercial settings for making all kinds of coffee and coffee related things. So I'll be back tomorrow to show you how I actually drain this and make my actual coffees every single day.